Good morning, everybody. It is February 10th. Our featured speaker today is Lorraine Duncan with Biz Gone Social. Before we hand over the reins to Lorraine to speak, let's go around the room as I see you and give me your name, where you're from, what would be your business, and what would be a great referral for you this week. And I'm going to start with Mr. Keith.
Good morning. My name is Keith Rand. I own a company called First Quality Printing. I'm semi-retired from that, and I do full-time consulting for my family office business and what we do is we look at purchasing and taking positions in companies. What would be a good referral for me is anyone who knows about a business that's being sold. We have a particular profile. And if you know someone who's interested in selling their business, particularly if it's approximately $1 million sales or more annually, just get a hold of myself and I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Keith. Nick.
Well, good morning, everyone. Nick Sullivan, Business Solutions. As we all know, owners or business owners are always looking to enhance their business through increasing their cash flow or profitability. I help identify programs that most businesses aren't aware of through the federal government, specialized tax incentives. Also look at expense reduction opportunities like reducing merchant services costs, waste and recycling. Working with somebody who we're helping a small business who owns a building about $45,000, so they can take that off their taxes, put that back into their business. So there's a whole array of incentives out there. They have 10 or 15 minutes. I use my software to identify opportunities to look at. A good referral this week is our manufacturers. If you know small manufacturers, even large manufacturers, we can save them significant dollars because they're eligible for about all the different incentives out there. So keep that in mind. Nick Sullivan, Business Solutions.
Thank you, Nick. Adele.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adele Bush. My business is ASB Business Services, LLC, and I'm coming to you live from sunny Columbus, Ohio. Our business specializes in telephone outreach, not just any old telephone calls, but executive style telephone outreach. We work with businesses who need to have a little extra touch put on their outreach. So a phone call sometimes makes the difference in whether you're going to get an appointment or whether you're going to be able to connect with someone. A well-constructed, well-designed phone call is what we do the best. A good referral for me this week would be an accounts receivable. I'm doing very well with accounts receivable. We have a special script that we use for AR, and we're able to help our clients reach the people who have accounts that are delinquent and convince them that they need to bring the money in somehow, some way. So that's what we do. Adele Bush with ASB Business Services, LLC.
Thank you, Adele. Rhoda.
Good morning, all, and special welcome to Lorraine. I'm so happy we were able to arrange this. And Lorraine is someone that I'm hoping to do some work with because at Say It For You, my team of content writers often works with agencies who do other parts of the digital marketing piece. And so we focus on the wordsmithing part, and we typically write one blog post a month for each of our clients to keep their readers and their visitors in the now and in the know with current content that shows that they're aware of what's going on in the world and in their own community and with their own client demands. So right now I am looking to hook up with more agencies for Say It For You B. And we've actually been very successful with 2 agencies that we have assignments for right now. So we Say It For You.
Thank you, Rhoda. I know, David, you're on the phone listening, and I'm assuming that you don't want to come on. So David Garrison is also attending. David, do you want to hop on? No. Okay.
And he's taking his granddaughter to.
Yeah, yeah. So,
At least we have his
but
picture.
we're really glad he's here. I have missed him being on the screen the last few weeks. So, and Lorraine, for your information, David actually does reverse mortgages with Mutual of Omaha, and works to help people make the most of the capital that they've got invested in their homes. So, very worthy endeavor there. I am Jerry Luco, ATD Business Consulting, and I have a DBA of Franchise Business Source. So where I spend most of my time is as an executive recruiter, specifically within the franchise industry, helping matchmake both aspiring and serial entrepreneurs find a perfect fit franchise business where they don't feel like reinventing the wheel, and they want that operational playbook to get them up and running and get them successful, that gets them money, lifestyle, flexibility, freedom, everything it is that they've been dreaming for. I'm based here in Columbus, Ohio, and it really is sunny today. Adele was not lying. And a good referral for me is actually career coaches. I have established the relationship with a couple of different career coaches that focus on career transitions and helping people with their self-confidence. And the people that they end up referring to me end up being fantastic clients for me. So career coaches, specifically those that are focused on the whole career transition mindset and getting people ready to make a change, would be fantastic. And with that, Lorraine, we are going to hand over to you. Give us a little brief introduction, and then you're off and running.
Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna transition. I'm not gonna do a commercial or anything. I think that will be good. How long do I have for? About like 3 hours, you said? I'm just kidding. So hi everyone. I'm of course Lorraine Duncan, and I own a digital marketing agency called BizGone Social. I help entrepreneurs drive their results through strategic social media strategy, and basically so they can focus on their zone of genius. So I'm kind of a support person. That's basically what I do. I come alongside people and I help them with their social media marketing. I do other things too, because I'm a full digital marketing agency, but my main focus has always been social media. So I'm going to do something a little different today, and I'm kind of out of my comfort zone. So I'll tell you a little bit quickly about who I am also as a person. I am going into my 40th year of marriage, and I'm going to be turning 60 this year too. So I have four grown, flown, and out of my house children. And it's very nice being an empty nester, even though I do miss the noise. I am an author, a speaker, and I love my thing is a lot of people just don't understand this whole online marketing deal. And so I love to bridge the gap between, telling about the digital marketing age and social media and educate on that, because a lot of people just don't understand it. I have clients that come to me and say, I know I need to be on social media, but I don't want to do it. So those are the people that I'm looking for. So if you hear that in your going about and in your, daily routine, that somebody wants to do social media marketing, you can think of me. So I wanted to talk about something that's not talked about a lot lately, and who knows, I may be way off base, but I just thought I would and it's going to be interactive. So I'm going to, ask questions, and I'm hoping that you'll all participate. And it's not usually what I do, but I've been on a lot of Zoom calls lately, and I feel like I'm just being talked at. And so today I don't want to talk at you. I want to be interactive. I want to learn from you. It's just as much as you learn from me. So by a raise of your hand, who has heard of the marketing pie? Does anybody use the marketing pie in their business?
The marketing
Pie.
pie.
P-I-E. Marketing pie. Has anybody ever heard of it? Well, that's good. My talk's over then. Yeah. So years ago, probably maybe about 10, 15 years ago, when I decided that I was going to do my business. And at that point, I was a coach. I was a life and business coach. I went to this seminar and they taught us a marketing pie. And basically what a marketing pie is just I'm going to give you actually the Google definition of it. So, which is the marketing pie is a spin on the pie chart. So if you think of a chart that is a circle and has different slices, okay? Each slice of the pie is a marketing channel or a piece of something that you do for marketing. The idea is that the business should strive to make use of the whole pie rather than just a single slice. And so what I like to say is basically, what is a marketing pie? It's your marketing plan. So who here has a marketing plan for their business? That's awesome. I'd be really worried if you didn't, because if you don't, like I'm a big goal person. So the bottom line is if you don't have a plan, then you're not going to really go anywhere. Like I have a certain amount of people that I'm going to talk to per week. So there's all these things in my marketing plan. Now, being that you haven't really heard much of the marketing pie, there are some myths around the pie. And I just I always wanted to kind of dispel them a little bit. Is one, there's only one marketing pie. So traditionally, the bottom line is I used to hear everybody had a different marketing pie. And then you'd get the big gurus out there, the big business success people that would say, oh no, you can only have one. But I'm here to dispel that. And the same thing, if I want to translate into the marketing plan, there are many marketing plans. And what I want to say to that is everybody has a different marketing plan. No marketing plan is the same. And that is where, like, for instance, when it comes to me and my business, when I meet with a client, for instance, there is not one your business is not the same as the business next door. You're all different. You all have a different marketing plan. And so therefore, when I do social media for a company, I treat them as an individual, that they're not like anybody else. And I don't use a cookie cutter approach to social media for that company. So with that being said, another myth that comes up, and even in marketing too, is that I have a plan, for instance, or a pie, or whatever you want to call it, but I have a plan and I must every day follow that plan and I must not deviate it. Guess what? You can deviate from your marketing plan. And in some cases, you can just delete part of that from your marketing plan if it's not working for you. So then the other thing is that, like, especially with the people who are the pie pushers, all right, everybody should have a marketing pie. So I'm not going to be here to tell you that you should have a marketing pie and throw out your marketing plan and forget about doing it that way. What I am here to tell you is that you should be thinking about your marketing daily. And a lot of people don't do that. And so I like to think of it, I'm going to talk about it in terms of a pie today. I happen to love pumpkin pie. But, and if you think about it, when you have company and you cut that pie, every slice is a little different. No matter how evenly you try to slice it, it's different. And, I remember my kids used to argue, you gave them a bigger piece and, blah, blah, blah. But what I wanted to say is that the plan that you have is not all equal. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example of what my pie looks like. A lot of people, so first of all, I want to just kind of show you, I'm going to show you real quick what different marketing pies look like. And I'm just going to share my screen here. I'm not going to show you some boring slides and stuff. So I just decided that I just wanted to just share one little picture, just so you could see. This is just different pieces of the pie, different pies, and everybody has something different, as you can see. And it's very much changed today. Like back probably about 20 years ago, all right, you would have something maybe on your pie called cold calling. I almost hope nobody has to do real cold calling today because it's kind of scary. I do some cold calling every once in a while, but not a whole lot anymore. or a lot of times you would have like mailers or printed mailers, and that's still very important today. In fact, believe it or not, the statistics just came out on postcard mailers, and actually they're 85% actually very successful. So if you have a business that you want to, target a local area, print isn't dead. So by all means, you could add that to your marketing plan if you want to get your business out, especially if it's B2C. If you're B2B, a little bit different. I just wanted to give you an idea about like this person here has like 3 bazillion pieces. So what I wanted to say, what would mine look like? And I'm just going to stop my share now. But my pie is basically 3 pieces. And my pie basically consists of networking, digital marketing, and collaborating with others. And what I wanted to say is not all pieces of my pie are equal. So I spend a good time of my day networking. And I wanted to talk a little bit quickly about that, is that networking is really important to anybody's business. There's an old saying, how many here have a website? How many here know how many people go to your website? So there's this little thing called Google Analytics that will tell you how many people go to your website. The reason I'm bringing this up, just because you built a website doesn't mean they'll come to it. So just because you built a business doesn't mean they'll come to it. So there's that movie out there years ago that was called Field of Dreams, and they built he built a baseball field in the middle of a cornfield. And the bottom line is that there's that famous line, if you build it, they will come. Well, but I'm here to tell you, no, they're not going to come. You have to talk about your business. There's all different businesses here. Rhoda, I was introduced to your business a couple of weeks ago when we talked on the phone. And if you didn't tell me what you did, I wouldn't know. All of you did your commercials today. Adele with business services, and you talked about phone, and you reminded me of how very important phone calls are, and how very important of having the right system for today's 21st century. So it's very important to be able to talk about your business with others, so that when somebody says, hey, I think there was somebody here that was reverse mortgages. I'm short on money. I don't know what to do, but my house is paid off for it. What do I do? Do I do a reverse mortgage, or I know somebody who could talk to you about that. So you want to be thinking about how you're networking, and maybe that should be the biggest part of your social media. Your marketing pie, your marketing plan. Now, what I want to add to that, which is a really big part of the plan, is your online marketing. And what does that look like? COVID hit in 2020, and I hate using this word because everybody's using it. It's called pivot. Everybody had to make some sort of pivot. I'm sure all of you met in person before COVID. And to be honest with you, there is nothing. I'm very relational, and I'm an extrovert. So it's like I need a hug every once in a while, and I need to be talking to people face to face. But COVID changed all that, and we've been hiding behind masks, hiding behind our desktops, and not really getting out there. So I made a goal in 2020 that I was going to just network out of my area because I can. And that changed my business drastically. And for the better. Now, for the better, yes, for the better for, getting clients and talking to people all over the country. For the worse, that we're forgetting what it's like to network in person. And I think that that's a very important part. So my networking is, I still try to meet with people in person. I had lunch with somebody yesterday. And the bottom line is I still try to do that. So it should be a big part of your marketing plan. And if you're not networking and you're not telling others about your business, then you're failing. And what I want to say to that is I have a mentor that has said to me, If you're not talking about your business every day, or if you're not getting business every day, then you don't have a business. So you want to think about, purposeful networking. Now, I'm not saying you go on every call and say, hey, I'm Lorraine Duncan and you must buy a social media marketing plan, blah, blah, blah. No, not at all. I wouldn't expect anybody to work with me from day one when just meeting me. I would expect somebody to want to get to know me to see if we're a good fit. That's my purpose. Everybody is not a good fit for me. And so in the same thing, everybody's not a good fit maybe for Rhoda. Maybe there's some people out there that don't have a website and don't blog, but Rhoda can do other stuff. So it's important to know what everybody does so that you can tell people about them too. All right, what else is important? So social media, I think today, because you have the millennials and you have the Gen X's and the Gen Z's, and I don't even know what everybody's called anymore because they keep on changing it. But you need to know how to reach these people. And the bottom line, and this is a fact, I have my phone right here because I take notes on my phone. But the bottom line is that I think the last statistic was probably about 90% are doing business on their phone. So, I mean, the first thing I think of is when it comes to doing business on my phone is, of course, having that conversation. And by the way, very interestingly enough, I reached out to a bunch of people in my phone the other day just to see how they were doing. I didn't ask them if they were interested in, working with BizGone Social. I just asked them how they were doing. I made about 20 of those, talked to about 5 people. And one of those people said, I was just thinking of you. We need to have a conversation because I'm ready to start. They weren't ready to start 3 years ago, but they're ready to start now. So a very important process in this social networking and this networking is follow-up. And I don't know, there's somebody, I think it was Zig Ziglar or maybe Jim Rohn, I don't know who said this, but they say the money is in the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're making all these touches, networking, they connect with you on social media, you're collaborating with people. Maybe you were asked to do a talk on a certain subject, finances, housing, speaking, whatever it is, B2B, a B2B conference, whatever that would look like for you, that's collaborating. So all those pieces should be a part of your marketing plan today. Should everybody have a marketing plan or a marketing pie? Yes. Does it look differently for everybody? Yes. And today I just want you to think about that. Go back to those little, maybe the plan that you have when you open up your business. Maybe some of you had to present a plan to the bank because maybe you were getting some money to open your business. Or maybe you have a plan because you worked on that a long time ago. But I encourage you to revisit that plan. And I encourage you to revisit social media because there's so many things that are important in social media. And especially if you're B2B, LinkedIn is the place for you. Most of you should be on LinkedIn and you should be networking on LinkedIn. It's a different kind of networking. Don't, connect with people. And then as soon as you connect with people, do the spiel of buy my garbage because it's bad. It's get to know somebody first. I always, when I connect with somebody, usually, unless it's at a networking event, I usually give them something to read, and it's not by me. I usually give them a Forbes article, of 2022 right now. I've been giving 2022 digital trends by Forbes because I think it's very important that people should know what the trends are because they change every year. If you would have told me that we would be on Zoom 20 years ago, I would laugh at you because I hated Skype. And it was like, now, like most of us are on Zoom every day. So I want you to think about and design your marketing plan for you. And have a purpose, with everything you do. If you're going to venture out into social, if you're not doing social media and you're going to venture out, have a reason why. And I think that's so important. You really have to have a reason why for everything you're doing. And then set goals. I'm a smart goal person, and you have to be able to measure your goals and if they're working, because then it tells you, do you continue? If you're doing networking and you set the, my goal is to meet 5 new people every day, talk to them, and have a conversation. Most of the time we do not talk about business on the first call, but if we continue, the business does happen, and we find out, are we a right fit for each other? I found out very quickly how Rhoda could help me in my business, and I'm getting to the point where I don't want to write content anymore. I'm kind of my personality is I love to bring on clients on board and figure out the strategy for clients. But sometimes I do managing. So I manage a lot of clients. It gets very, for me, it's not in my zone of genius. My zone of genius is talking and teaching people. So with that being said, I want to ask one question, and because I just want to see how this bounced off of everybody, is thinking of your current marketing plan right now. What is one thing that you want to keep and one thing that you want to get rid of? I would love to hear that from each of you, because I want to know if I triggered something, or if there's something that I can help you with, or we can have a further conversation. So anybody want to be the first to share? Don't be shy.
I'll go. I do a lot in my networking. I tend to be looking for referrals versus referral partners versus them being my client, right? And that I definitely want to keep. People that have been in my industry for multiple moons, they get most of their business by referral. And it really takes the load off in terms of, I don't have to do cold calls, but I have to do very lukewarm calls, so the more referrals I can get, the less, lukewarm calling I have to do. And what do I want to get rid of? I need to do more social media posting, but using your term, like having to do the creation of that content just fries my brain, right? So it's something I know I need to do more of, but I really don't want to be the one doing it. Kind of like you. I'd rather be talking.
Yeah. A lot of times, I always laugh, that saying with, it's the shoemaker's kids that never have shoes.
Yep.
I literally, I have an assistant now. I've grown so much over the year that I started to hire people for myself, and literally my assistant, I said, like, okay, here's my content. Here's my social media. You put it on. So it was a good thing to get rid of. Sometimes delegating is the most important thing that you can possibly do. Okay, I want to hear from somebody else.
I think for me that the least useful of the social media that I am on is Facebook. And still, but I don't want to get rid of Facebook, because when I go on there, I see things that are important to my clients and to other people and to friends and all that. But at the same time, I don't understand how to use it. The other thing is that on LinkedIn, it annoys me when someone uses only LinkedIn, and after the initial introduction to somebody, I don't want to talk to them on LinkedIn. I want to talk to them on email, so I can have a folder for them and I can keep track of everything that went on for them, that is just them. So I want to find more efficient ways to use those two, how to stay on Facebook but use it better, and how to stay on LinkedIn but not be so annoyed by it all the time.
Yeah, No, that's really good. And it's so true too, is that a lot of people, LinkedIn is a really great platform. It's the problem is most people really don't know how to use it. And it is a good networking program. And what I try to do is with a lot of people, I'm an open networker on LinkedIn. I don't recommend that for everybody, but what I do recommend is that try to bring certain people to a call. Now you have to be careful with bringing people to a call because I guess I should say the last time that I did somebody that I really didn't know well, it was like a financial planner type of person. And they brought their upline with them and stuff like that. And it was a full force sales call. And that's not what I signed up. I signed up for like, let's get acquainted. Let's see how we can help each other. Financial people are really hard to work for because they have a lot of, for me, because they have compliance. So like New York Life, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, I can go on and on with the list, but I've worked for them, but everything has to get pre-approved and it makes my life miserable. So I don't really go after, but I like to help them because I know ways around some of their compliance that aren't illegal, but just ways to get phone calls and talk to people. Cause I know that's the most important thing about their business. You got to be careful what you post. You can't post mortgage rates on social media.
Right.
So yeah, no, that's good. LinkedIn is actually my area of expertise. I even have like a mini niche into Necro. I'm known as the super LinkedIn ninja. So, after today's call, I would love if everybody just connected with me on LinkedIn. That would be awesome. And just say here's the thing is always, if it's during a networking event, always say where you met. All right. Or say what you have in common. I want to connect with you because we're both alumni at George Washington University, or we're both alumni, or I'm in a same networking group, or I'm a former Toastmaster, or whatever that connection is, because it's just everybody wants to know and connect with people that they have something in common with. It is the biggest key to your LinkedIn networking. It really is. I want to hear from some of the guys here. Come on.
I think just less multitasking, more focus is what what's a distraction, bigger blocks of time. Because if you shift your brain, I think people try to do things in 30-minute segments. I saw a speaker talked about, you really got to focus for 3 hours on being efficient, because you reach a peak, it takes about 30 or 40 minutes in before you reach your zone. And if you're always shifting gears all the time, you never get momentum. So I think that's the main thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's an awesome, and everybody should take a lesson from what you just said as far as multitasking. And honestly, every time I have multitask, and sometimes I've done it very well, but something still gets left out. And it's a proven fact that you actually get more done when you're not multitasking. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is I'll give you an example. I'm hosting a summit, which I'm going to invite all of you to, a very free summit on marketing. It's called the Marketing Success Summit. But I was trying to do it in pieces, and I was, and finally I said, what, I just got to get this done, because I was putting a website together. It just was all this stuff I had to do. Finally, I just said, no, I can't do this anymore. So I just did it. And it took me about an hour and a half to do, but I didn't do anything during that hour and a half. I'm a big believer in blocking time. Start blocking time. If you're going to make maybe the morning is going to be in the morning, I'm going to spend a half an hour looking at emails. By the way, do not let email run your life. Put looking at your emails and answering them at a certain time. Some people like to do that at the end of the day so it doesn't run their day, because other people's demands are not your priorities unless it's an urgent client task, and so I do look at my clients' emails. So, but if it's, hey, could you do this for me? And, no, I can't do that for you right now. So you got to be careful of not letting, there was a little pamphlet there. It's kind of a religious pamphlet, but it was really cool. It was called The Tyranny of the Urgent. And literally it's based on what Jesus, for instance, placed first. But the bottom line is that we all should have certain things that we place first. What comes first in your life, and do those things that are urgent. And so, yeah, very, very important thing is blocking time. Okay, so Adele, Keith.
Yeah, I've been listening to you speak, and it's very interesting because one of the things that you brought up was this consistent follow-up. And that consistent follow-up process, to me, is also a key to successful. And in my business now, I'm learning there's a certain fear of interacting when you're trying to transfer or you're selling your business. When you invite someone into that process, it's an intimate process. And all the things that you didn't do are now exposed. And people, they're fearful of that. They're fearful that you're going to judge them. They're fearful that you're going to take advantage of them because, oh, these guys, they do this a lot. I've only done it one time. So it's a little bit different. And I'm learning now that I've got to make sure that as part of my marketing, we're not scary people. We don't make you scared. We want to make you comfortable, but not scared. So I'm trying not to be a scary guy.
Yeah, and there's a fine line. I mean, you have to, you can't go around never talking about your business, because people need to know what you do because they may need you. So you're doing others a big disservice by not telling them what you do. And by the way, if you don't talk about your business, nobody's going to know, and you're not going to get any business. I remember just being, think back to the day when you first started your business. It was scary in itself. And then I felt like when I did talk about my business, I scared people away. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And that's why I think relationship marketing, and that's part of my networking pie, a little slice in it, which is relationship marketing, which I think is the only way, to be honest with you. I think some of these, there's all these different tactics that people use to make them buy stuff. And I think it's that, to me, is scary. I've bought things that I should have never bought because of scarcity or and then see that they were selling it a month later. It's like, so all those tactics really kind of, and I'm sure you all seen it on a TV commercial, it's like, I have somebody that, I don't know if I think it's Pier 1 or Pottery Barn or something. I get a text message from them every day. This is an exclusive, only 60% off sale. And then the next day they're doing 75% off. And I'm like just waiting for the 80%, and then I'm going to go and buy. It's like, how do you do that? I mean, every day they're texting me. I'm going to actually opt out of the text. Adele, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I was just going to mention one thing that I think I've been forced to give up because my business is growing and I'm getting busy. I'm a solopreneur, is face-to-face networking. I was part of several groups, and I was, a faithful attender and a participant. But because I've gotten so busy, I just do not have time for these structured meetings during the day. And I feel guilty because I feel like I'm losing opportunities, by having to kind of put that on the back burner. And I just right now prefer the virtual, because that keeps me on task. I can get off this meeting, go right over to the office over here and start my day. I don't have to commute. I don't have to sit in a meeting for an hour and a half, stay after, talk. And before you know it, you got 4 hours, and I lose money. I lose money when I'm out and about during the day, because that's when I make my calls during the business day. So that's something that I've struggled with. And I don't know if anyone has any ideas or recommendations. I'd appreciate it.
Well, I'm just going to end this here, but I just wanted to say that it's balance. We and you do have to make time for some kind of networking event in your week. I recommended, of course, at least one, and because you've got to meet new people. So the people that you meet, I do BNI, for instance, and I've been in BNI for like ever. And, you pay for your space there. And I have 28 other referral partners that have, got me business over the years that have kept me busy during slow times. And I really appreciate that. And so you want to just make sure this conversation today, and I call it a conversation because I didn't really want to talk at you. I'm sure you get enough of that on at different events and stuff. And yes, I would have loved to wow you with my amazing PowerPoint slides because they are amazing. All my PowerPoint slides are. However, I just wanted to try this approach because I think sometimes we get so used to doing things. And one of the biggest things that I'm going to be doing for my 40-year anniversary and my 60th birthday is that I want some change in my life. And so, sometimes there's a saying out there, when you do this, if you do the same things over and over again, you're going to get the same results. And so I just wanted to have a conversation. And also you kind of are my little guinea pigs today, because the bottom line is I was asked to speak on the marketing pie. And I was like thinking, who uses the marketing pie anymore? But I'm literally going to be doing a SCORE event on the marketing pie. And I'm like thinking, I can guarantee you anybody that's coming to that does not know what a marketing pie is. Just saying. So you guys all help me with this. And so I know how to reframe it and get it. But I want to invite you. It's not, this isn't a salesy thing or anything. I decided that marketing is something that we always are spending so much time in our business, working in our business to try to get clients and trying to build our, build our clients up and make money and put food on our table. And the bottom line is that we don't spend enough time thinking about our own marketing. We're always working on somebody else's business and never really working in our business. And so I decided that I was going to host a summit this year and invite some of my peeps that I know through networking that I think are really good at marketing. And so I'm having this, the 21st to the 25th of February, I'm having a marketing summit. Wow. And it's totally free during that week. There'll be 2 talks a day. Interestingly enough, one of the speakers talks about the 7 levers of influence by a guy named Robert Cialdini. And he talks about commitment and consistency. And that is so important in any business. And just that little piece of the lever in itself is really worth it. I have somebody talking about chat bots. And during that call, it's a workshop. If you have a Facebook business page, you can actually create your chat bot right away. And all it is giving them a freebie and getting them to sign up for your email list. And then I have somebody talking about how to use speaking for their marketing. And so there's all different people. I have amazing people. I have a marketing myths person that's going to come on and talk about that.
What kind of day is it, Lorraine?
It's 2 times, but there you can see all the replays during the week. And I'm actually going to put the link in it. So everybody's going to be talking at 10 and 3. And I picked those 2 times because not everybody all at once, but I have a Monday special speaker, 10 and 3, Tuesday, and then I'm going to end it. I'm going to talk about social media for the win. And then you get to see my pretty PowerPoint slides that I work so hard on. But no, I really encourage you, and then definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. And I'm going to put all my information in the chat. And if any of you, I do have a podcast, by the way, and if any of you want to be on a podcast, and I ask 5 questions, and mostly it's B2B podcast, and I do advertising. I do traditional advertising for that. So if there's a commercial that comes on, it's pre-recorded. We're not on TV. It's just a recording. And it's a nice way to talk about your business, get your business out there. And it's also a nice way to help others, because I ask at the end, everybody gets asked this question: what is one piece of advice that you can give if somebody's thinking of starting their own business? And so if you want to be on my podcast, definitely, I'll put all my information in the chat. Sorry if I went over. That's one thing I didn't account for. So I apologize.
You're absolutely fine. Definitely put your information in the chat. When Keith sends out like the video link, he'll also include the information from the chat. So I'll give you a minute to go ahead and do all the chat stuff while I close out. And thank you, Lorraine. It was super interesting. And definitely make sure that we all have the information on your summit. I love you putting, and I will definitely be reaching out to you to be on your podcast. Adele, I'm sorry, you raised your hand.
I was just going to say I have some interest in her podcast as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you have such a great, siren song voice that everyone will want to listen to that, Adele.
Thank you.
Before we close for the day, are there any announcements or anything that anyone wants to talk about in terms of, upcoming events that they want people to know about?
No, but I always like to leave with one thing from the speaker. And so I like when she said the money is in the follow-up. I always say that if I can just get one thing out of any speaker, that's a key to me. Because you don't remember everything that speaker says, but I like the money is in the follow-up. That's good for me. That's good.
Yep, that is like a mantra within my particular business. So you're right, Keith. Okay, so next week, February 17th, we have Jason Rosenthal, and thank you today to Lorraine from Biz Gone Social. Really appreciate you speaking today, Lorraine. And with that, I am going to close out, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Good night.